into my story about the 60s. And everybody thinks about the 60s as a great time of liberation and revolution and enlightenment even. But for me, when I was 19 years old at the University of Georgia, I held, in 1966, of course, I had a great shame. It was the 60s and I held a horrible shame. It was almost like something I didn't want to talk about because I was a virgin. And my roommate, of course, I was the cool kid from that one out. But my roommate was from Moultrie, Georgia, and that was Moultrie, Georgia, which is the opposite of Joe Martin. But anyway, I was still a virgin, and every time I walked past the magazine stand, it was like Life magazine, Time magazine, there was something called the sexual revolution was going on. It was taking place, and I knew it was because there was all these magazine covers, but yet I was somehow excluded. So when my college roommate, Mac Mosley, said he had a plan to fix me up, of course, I said, yes, please, fix me up. The words themselves, they held such promise. It was like I would just have to splash on some Old Spice or that dreaded English weather and present myself. All the other details, the witty conversation, the tongue stuff, the bra hooks, the complications of penetration, all that was to be covered by the Fix Me Up gods. Me and Mac's plan was to drive down from Athens to Macon for a double date at Wesleyan, a conservative women's college, where Mac's girlfriend waited for him and her cute roommate waited for me. Plus, as a favorable omen, Wesleyan had even booked a show that night. Major Lance and Mary Wells with their touring band. What more did I want? Live soul music was a date rape drug of that era. I had been to fraternity parties. I knew the routine. Pour some golden grain in your date's line, Mr. Misty, and then get behind her while Doug Clark and the Hot Nuts did humping songs on stage. I was not dumb. I could be a virgin, but I wasn't dumb. I knew what to do, but I just couldn't do it. So even though it was a week before finals, at a time when your draft board got your college grades as soon as you did, and even though failing just one course meant the loss of your 2S deferment and a certain trip to you-know-where, the jungles of Vietnam, Mac and I looked at our books and we said, nah, we left them in the dorm. We headed south. But the first thing that I noticed about my Macon fix-up date was that she had the impenetrable aspects of her undergarments, whose heavily ribbed structure resembles what we now know to be Kevlar vest material. I mean, I was supposed to get through that. I mean, I knew of Aphrodite's girl what made the wear irresistible to men. But this was so the opposite. I mean, this girl was cute, yes, but she was also bulletproof. The next bad news was that the show was in the Wesleyan Chapel, which meant no dancing, no swaying behind your date while giving those little pelvic thrusts. No, we had to sit in pews, a congregation of bunny-bread students far too dressed for anything but church. And then, precisely at 8 o'clock, the band took the stage, their front man addressing us as ladies and gentlemen before they broke into Hideaway, the national anthem of soul show warm-up sets. Hideaway actually causing a few heads to bob, a few shoulders to sway. But stop! Staring us down from below the stage were the Dean of Women and the Wesleyan Dean of No Sex. Ancient harpies who scowled at any bodily movement. And here came Mr. Major Lance, stutter-stepping across the stage with the most glistening do I'd ever seen. And wham, it was monkey time in the Wesleyan Chapel. There's a blast right up and down whenever you're ready. The horns were blowing, the bass was thumping, the rhythm guitar was chicken in. But when Major sang, move your hips, it was clear from the dean's stares that we would not be moving our hips that night. And certainly no backbones would be slipping tonight because the old women's eyes swept over us like searchlights over a prison yard at night. Their grandfathers had likely fought in the Civil War. They did not approve of this Negro music. They believed that hip thrusting led to the harder stuff. But wait, wasn't that the point of doing the monkey? To get down, to get singing, show your partner what he or she might be getting later on. Maybe so, but no matter, we couldn't dance. So we stood. We smiled. We applauded politely at the end of each number as though Chopin's Polonaise in A minor had just been performed by Horowitz himself. And then here came Miss Mary Wells, shooting in a green sequin when Bonus Bearer, that tried hard, but pretty much failed to contain her enormous breast. Mary Wells, the original Motown queen, she was such a star that both the Temptations and the Supremes had been her backup group. Oh my God, the Beatles called her their sweetheart. The Beatles had flown her over to England to tour as their opening act. Mary Wells with her white girl bouffant streaked hair. And when Mary sang, my God, we were her guy. No handsome face can ever take my place. No handsome face can ever take our place. And when it came to being happy, it was a given that Mary Wells can make us very, very happy, even though our happiness might last but for a very, very short time. We stared, hypnotized, as Mary oozed from one side of the stage to the other, now singing brazenly of two lovers, and I'm not ashamed. Whoa, we had heard that song on the radio so many times, but now it's different. She was singing to us. She was drying our mouths because now every drop of moisture in our bodies had been assigned to semen production. She made us thirsty. Mary made us so thirsty. And then we had to drink her in. We wanted Mary very much. She was not some stick figure like Mary and Faithful or Twiggy. We indulged our fantasies. We forgot the armored foundation garment girl sitting next to us. Some of whom were now, or secretly tapping their little feet. And then